So you got discarded by a dismissive avoidant. You went through the avoidant rodeo. You had your heart shattered, and now you knew what it was like to be in a relationship with an avoidant and an emotionally unavailable person. And you never want to go through that again. Well, now you met somebody new. This person seems emotionally available. This person even identifies as an anxious attacher. They seem like they're actually genuinely emotionally available, or so you think. As time goes by, unfortunately, they reveal themselves to be an avoidant. They are essentially a covert avoidant, also known as a fearful avoidant. Fearful avoidants have an anxious attachment as well as an avoidant attachment, and how they behave really determines on what triggers are present in the relationship at that moment. Early in the relationship, they tend to behave as if they're anxiously attached. They can be a bit clingy, be a bit needy, sometimes be a bit controlling. They might be the type to snoop through your phone to make sure you're not cheating on them. They really want that confirmation and that reassurance that you're not going to leave them, that you do love them and you do care about them. And they've taken attachment style tests and they test anxious. Well, that's something you can work with, right? However, over time, all of a sudden you notice that this person is starting to pull back. They're starting to shut down. They're starting to stonewall you, gaslight you, disappear for days. And when you press for answers, they tell you everything's fine. Or they just give you very vague excuses for their behavior. Work is stressful. I just don't have the bandwidth for things right now. I have these family stressors going on. And the excuses get more and more and more vague. And you are wondering what it is that you did wrong. But then comes the discard. They shut down, deactivate, the same way a dismissive avoidant would, and give you nothing but vague excuses as to why the relationship is ending. In some cases, they might give you a very specific excuse of something that you did wrong that they never told you about. Either way, this person didn't communicate with you. You found out that this person is in fact avoidant. They just have an anxious side as well, and it's a very, very painful experience. You feel blindsided, if not even more so blindsided, because chances are the relationship progressed along even further than it did with the dismissive avoidant of the past. Fearful avoidance can often be very difficult to detect early on because they really do come across as anxious attachers. But there are still some telltale signs. If you look at this person and you look at their dating history, often they have a lot of short relationships, but their long-term relationships were with toxic partners like narcissists. This is because toxic partners don't trigger the avoidant fears in the same way that a healthy, loving partner does. They still may have a sense of hyper-independence, just like a dismissive avoidant that they assert, because that independence really telegraphs their fear of engulfment, which is the fear of losing themselves in a relationship to somebody who's ultimately going to reject and abandon them. Now, they can still somewhat exhibit a little bit of hot and cold behavior early on, but never anywhere to the extent of a dismissive avoidant. Fearful avoidance can be very, very tricky to detect. But once this person starts to shut down, pull away, and distance themselves, that is the opportunity to hold a boundary and to assert yourself and say, no, this isn't working for me. I can't go days or weeks without seeing each other. We need healthy communication. And if this person can't respect it, the relationship will come to its natural conclusion a lot sooner than it would otherwise if you don't hold your boundaries. Either way, it's a very painful experience and it can be very, very blindsiding. Don't beat yourself up. You didn't know what you didn't know. And you do deserve somebody who is genuinely emotionally available that would never discard you, never blindside you, because you would never do it to them, and you deserve the same in return.